Hello, I'm Gerry Hagen from Pascoag, Rhode Island. I'm speaking tonight in regards to the process of advisory positions and other aspects of the overall procedure of this process. I am doing so because the residents of Barville have been told over and over and over again to please respect the process, to trust the process. The process will show if the plant should be cited or not. We've been told this by the governor, by Senator Whitehouse, and even by the members of this board. Here is how I see the process. The process sets clear deadlines at the beginning of the procedure for advisory positions to be submitted. However, the process seems to be lacking an accountability piece, as 6 of the 12 required advisory positions express the same sentiment, that Invenergy did not provide enough information before the deadline for them to submit an appropriate advisory position. The process seems to have allowed Invenergy to provide vague answers or simply not respond to data point requests, to the frustration of those attempting to do the work. The process should hold the applicant accountable and require that they provide complete responses in a timely manner. The process allows for an advisory position filed on behalf of the Public Utilities Commission to be completed by a single person. This was after one of the eligible staff members previously expressed support for the project. The process of having one person represent the commission was questioned, and a decision was made that it was appropriate. Who ruled on that decision? The gentleman that was completing the advisory position by himself. In other areas, the process allows representatives of Invenergy to falsely testify at open meetings. They made the decision to exaggerate the potential rate savings to Rhode Island customers at an open meeting with the EFSB board. Did the process require them to acknowledge their misleading information? No. They had previously included that information in local ads and mailings, and there are probably some people who still believe that the average person will see great rate savings if the plant is built. The process allowed Invenergy to falsely advertise and identify the location and or time of public meetings with the EFSB board and local town ads. We then heard that the EFSB board was disappointed in the turnout by citizens for those meetings. Again, Invenergy was not held accountable for their misleading information. The process requires that our town council remain neutral throughout the process, yet our highest elected state officials, including the governor and Senator Whitehouse, can express their support of the project. The process allows for an attorney that works for a town board to also lobby against proposed legislation related to the project on behalf of labor unions, and also allows for his law firm to file a motion opposing the town's motion for the EFSB to close the docket on this proposal. The question of conflict of interest was raised, but the attorney continues to represent parties on both sides of this proposal. The process allows the governor and labor representatives to continually advocate for the jobs this project may create, yet the process of determining the need of such a plant and if the proposed site is appropriate has nothing to do with creating jobs. I don't believe the EFSB has a responsibility to create jobs, and I don't believe that it is an appropriate outcome to consider in this setting. Yet the process has allowed this to be a major rallying cry for those that support the process. It has become very hard for the residents of this state to respect the process, as it seems to be flawed in almost all areas. The process apparently was put in place to limit the input of local government to the siting of energy facilities. It seems as though this process is now too wrapped up in statewide politics. The EFSB board members work for the governor. The governor supports the project. Companies such as Goldman Sachs and GE appear to be partners in both this proposed project, as well as working with the governor on statewide initiatives. When does common sense come into play in this process? Why weren't alternate sites considered, as has been the established practice when siting energy facilities? Why has there not been a comprehensive environmental impact completed? Why are we not relying on information from past consideration of this land for a power plant when it was determined that it was not an appropriate site? What has changed? To quote Director Coy, regarding this largest undisturbed area in all of Rhode Island, this parcel of land is particularly valuable for wildlife. The amount of rare and uncommon species on this property is amazing. Hopefully, Rhode Island DEM has taken some good photographs of that amazing wildlife, as it will be no more if this plant is approved. Over 20 groups have spoken out in opposition to this proposal. We can only hope that you, as the EFSB board, will truly listen and read through why this is the wrong project in the wrong location. We hope that you have the strength to fight statewide politics and make a decision on the merits of the project and truly consider the negative, long-lasting, detrimental impacts this project will bring to the town of Burrillville.